Hi everyone, welcome to the Moroccanoil Rose Brunette technique demo with Kia. Go ahead, Kia, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rebecca. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I know there are a dozen things you could be doing with your time today, so I sincerely appreciate you spending this hour with me to invest in your education. To tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Kia Charisma. I am based in Dallas, Texas. I'm a colorist and textured hair specialist, and I have been with Moroccanoil for a little over a year. I am super excited to introduce you all to our intense color series, and I'm going to be demoing that using our Rose Brunette technique, rather highlighting placement. If you want to see actual layouts and images of the placement, you can find that on the Moroccanoil Color Destination app, and you can find that to download on MoroccanoilProfessionals.com. Before we jump into all of that, I wanted to give you a little quick overview about the brand. So, once upon a time, our founder, Carmen Tal, went on vacation and she went and got her hair done. And she happened to notice at every step of the process, her stylist was adding a little bit of oil to the mixture. So it was a little in her color and a little in the shampoo, a little on her hair. And then by the time he was done, her hair was completely transformed. It was softer, shinier, it was a lot more manageable. And with Carmen being a salon owner at the time, she really was super excited about this and just knew that she needed to bring home this miracle cure for people back home. So, fast forward to 2007, the flagship product, our Moroccanoil Treatment Original, made its debut at the New York International Beauty Show, and the rest is history. So the brand has expanded from just hair care into color, body care, and we also recently launched an eau de parfum. So let's tell you a little bit about our Intense series. A lot of times people think, when they hear intense, they're thinking, okay, this is probably a vivid, and that's actually not going to be the case here. When we say intense, we mean like a stronger, richer payoff. So there's going to be a double pigment load. So that's where you're going to come into those double V's, double C's, and double R's. So to introduce you really quick to our new babies, I made a swatch ring. Our intense violets are going to come in 10, 9, and 8. And these are our swatches here. You can probably find them at your Pro Beauty Supply so you can get a better look. Our intense coppers are going to be 5cc and 7cc, and that's them right there. I really love these. These are going to be incredible for fall. Cowboy copper is not going anywhere, so come get involved. And finally, what we're going to be demoing today is our double red series. So the RRs come in 4, 5, 6, and 7 RR. Those are going to be in Permanent, our Rhapsody collection, and also our Demi Permanent Calypso. And here are my double R swatches. And of course, like all the rest of our hair care, it is going to be our care infused color. It's going to feature our pro arginine, which is a naturally occurring amino acid in the hair. And it also works in tandem with our proprietary Argan ID technology that takes positively charged microparticles that bond to the negatively charged hair strand to drive that argan oil and antioxidants deep into the hair's cortex so that it's preserving the integrity of the hair throughout the coloring process. So normally I have my doll pre-sectioned, but I do know sometimes I struggle to get those sections in. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all how I go about it. Easiest way to start is to take a center parting. She's up a little high. Go here. I'm using the camera as my mirror for the moment. And yes, she does have some old color in here, and by the time we're done, she's going to be a color correction model. So, okay, you're gonna take your center parting from the forehead to the nape, and then we're gonna section this off. I'm gonna be working on the right side today. Next step, you're going to take a diagonal forward from back of the crown to behind the ear. And then we're just going to section off that back section. And I'll show you everything when I turn her around. Then up here in the front, you're going to take a diagonal forward about an inch, inch and a half from the hairline. And that's going to be your face frame. And you're going to bring that, did I say diagonal forward? I meant diagonal back. At the hairline, and you're going to bring that to just above the ear. This is going to be one of your top sections right here. And so we can clip this off. And also clip away our face frame. And then for the back, making sure you all can still see, we are going to take a diagonal back from the ear, from behind the ear to just below the occipital bone. Then we're going to section this off. One of the cool things about this highlighting placement is that it utilizes chunky weaves, and I personally have always been terrified of chunky weaves. So in a normal situation, you would just go ahead and repeat this on the same side. I guess I'll go ahead and do it just for the sake of creating the visual for you all. And remember, this is going to be available to follow along with. This highlighting placement is called Rose Brunette, and it's on our Moroccanoil Color Destination app. So your section here at the nape, this is going to be all one section. Then we're going to bring her back around to the front. To take our face frame section, diagonal back to behind the ear. Now we have our second top section. And finally, we can clip this away. So I'm going to suit up, and in the meantime, can let you know about my plan here. I did all of this using our Moroccanoil Color Rhapsody Permanent. For her base, I'm going to be using 4RR with 20 volume. This whole technique is going to be done with permanent color, which is awesome, you know, for those clients with virgin hair that kind of don't want to go towards lightener. This is a great way to give them a highlighted look without using lightener. And so 4RR is going to serve as our base. And so I like to go in and just do my root first. I'm going to start here in the back. Remember, I'm only doing one side, so we're going to split this. Just put this away for the sake of today. I have my 4RR mixed 1-to-1 with my mixed 1-to-1 with my 20 volume cream lightener. I'm going to go ahead and give this a swirl. You want to gently mix your products, whether it's color or lightener, because you don't want to aerate it and kind of break it down sooner than you need. So when you get a nice smooth consistency like this, be done mixing. And then I'm going to start with my root. And I'm only going to use this as kind of a smudge for the time being. And considering I'm doing her whole root, I know was a big blob. Nice. I could just like do the whole root all at one time, but I feel like working within my sections that I'm going to be using helps me maintain control better. It also helps me work neater. I cannot wait to show you all the finished look. I have a doll behind me that has that finished finalized look with the 4RR base and 6RR highlights. Clip that back off. And if you see me looking off camera, that is me looking at the chat to see if there's any questions. Let me refresh my page. And then YouTube went away. Fun times. We'll go back and find it here. Because just in case you happen to, you had some questions, I want to be able to see the chat so I can answer you. I also know a lot of folks watch this on a playback, so I'm glad that, oh, how do I mute this? I need to turn this down. I don't need an echo. I kind of feel like I need background music. I usually work with a soundtrack going. How about everybody else? We're just going to quickly get this on here. I had a really busy weekend and did not have the chance to prep my finished look before today. So I was at work at 6:30 in the morning, coloring my doll, getting her ready, styling her out, and she's gonna look amazing. I'm super excited to show you all. All right, this is my second section. I just need to do the top. And also, did I misplace a clip? I probably did. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and use this. Turn her around here so we can all see. Does anyone else feel like they need to wear a full hazmat suit when you're working with reds? I feel like reds and blacks are always the messiest and chaotic colors to apply because I just end up wearing them more often than not. And I realize I'm not wearing my apron today, but I'm wearing all black. So if I happen to get color on myself, it's not going to be the end of the world. Getting this through. When I am working with reds, depending on what my goal is, I actually like to tone with permanent color for longevity. As we all know, reds are kind of a little bit of a challenge to maintain. You know, it's challenging to keep them bright, but then when you're ready to get rid of them, it's challenging to get rid of them too. So we're down to the face frame. This is the delicate work here. And I'm gonna make sure I don't get any color on her face. I think that's probably the hardest part of working with the doll heads is making sure you don't stain them. Give her a little bit here. And I think I'm going to take a small piece of foil to protect her forehead. Don't know what tips and tricks you all have, but this has worked pretty well for me. It makes it a little less chaotic under there. And if you have cling wrap, that'll work for that as well. All right, we are down to the very end of my root. Perfect. So now we are going to go back to the back. Move all these sections out of my way. And we're going to bring her back around. So remember I said we were doing wide placements. And I don't know about you all, but I've always been like super paranoid about doing chunky weaves. I always worried that they would look stripy. But we are taking reasonably big sections, and we're going to be doing chunky weaves because we're creating a high impact look. But before we do that, I almost forgot. We need to get our highlight color ready. So since I did a base and highlight at the same time, I went ahead and put my highlight color, my 6RR, with 40 volume, and I did that in foil. So let's go ahead and mix this up here. So I'm prepared when it's time to move through these parts. I'm actually gonna go through, do all my foils first, and then I'm gonna go back in and show you all, and apply the base color to the mids and ends. So I'm gonna move my 4 out of the way for now. Oh, I almost gave it away. All right, let's get this ready. Taking our first section and larger weaves. I don't like that one. I'm so used to taking smaller weaves that it's like a concerted effort to take larger ones. Okay, so we've got 3 good sections here. Hi, Victoria. Thank you for joining live. We're going to go ahead and add your 6 there. Really saturate so you can get that in there. And get your section in there. I'll close this up. Next section. So we're only going to be doing 3 foils here in this back section. And I'd mentioned earlier that I am a curly hair specialist. I'm hoping that I can get a client of mine to let me do this on their curly hair, because these larger weaves are going to look incredible on curly hair. You'll get like fully highlighted curl families, and so they're just like big, beautiful, bold swirls of color. I think that'll look great. Number 2, last one in our section here. Nope, don't like that one either. I think that's from the other section. Yep, it's up there. This is also why I like to do my root first and then keep it in those sections, because it really does help me stay organized. and work cleaner. And for my reveal, I actually used this same doll. So she's got kind of like this reddish, kind of a copper brown color, the untreated hair. And doing that 20 volume on the base and 40 volume for the highlight, believe it or not, creates some really amazing impact. Now we're up to our next section, and then we're going to follow that diagonal back. This section is probably only going to have 3, maybe 4 foils. If you are a crazy overfoiler like me, it takes some reminding to not go crazy and actually like go ahead and do those larger sections. But it makes for such a gorgeous result that, you know, it sells itself. When we're done with this section, we're actually going to jump to the face frame. And then we're going to leave the top to highlight last. So since you're hanging out with me here, Victoria, do you do very many reds? I feel like red is kind of like people's villain era, that hot and spicy, ready to get back in action after a breakup, after a big life change. What volume am I using on the ends? So in between the foils, that's going to be 20. Inside the foils is 40. Because I really want to get that lift in there. Okay, so this is going to be 4 foils in this section. Get her lean a little bit more so we can see. So where are you all watching from? Victoria, where are you at? Marlene, where are you? Do our chunky weave. Like, I would always be scared that something this bold, these big 3 stripes, would just be stripy. But I saw firsthand, it looks incredible. And it's nice and blended, particularly since you're going to be doing that, that deeper root. And it's just going to melt into that highlight. You do lots of reds and coppers. That's amazing. I haven't got to do very many reds yet. I do a lot of like copper reds, copper browns. A lot of my clients have dark hair. And so like those warmer tones also look really good on them. They're darker skin tones. A lot of them are warmer skin tones. So like those really rich coppers look great on them. So we got 2 California girlies, one from Culver City, one from WeHo. I love it. I've actually never been to Culver City. I have been to Hollywood though, not West Hollywood. Because on my first trip to LA, of course, I had to go do the tourist thing and take pictures on the Walk of Fame. But as a native New Yorker, I also know that I want to say it's probably your version of Times Square, where like, yeah, the tourists come, but it's not some place where the locals really like to go. So do you do very much highlighting with permanent color? When I was in cosmetology school, I didn't even know you can highlight with permanent color. They just send us directly to bleach. And then also, for some reason, they taught us to like start with 20 volume. Do you know how slow students are when they work? Can you imagine starting in the back with 20 volume, doing a full highlight? The fact that I didn't burn up my doll's hair every single time is still amazing, in my opinion. Then I got older, you know better, you do better. And so I learned about cycling my lightener. So this is going to be my last section here. Not much highlighting with permanent color. It's a really cool tool. I actually use High Lift for lightening as well. As long as my clients have virgin hair, I will use our Moroccanoil High Lift Gold Permanent as my base for my Cowboy Copper and even some reds, depending on what my goal is. Get it in there. I know I told some of my followers, and most of whom are other hairstylists, to come join me here in the chat. So I'm hoping I can get some of my buddies in here too and share the love. So we're going to be doing this section last. So we're going to go ahead and clip her away. Now for your face frame, you're going to be doing fine weaves because nobody wants stripes in front of their face. I know I don't. Do this first corner. And normally I would be a little bit more cautious about transferring the red onto the hair that's going to be outside of the foil. But since that's going to be red anyway, it's not that much of a big deal, especially since this is the lighter. And I'm going to go back through and do those mids and ends on the left out hair. I'm going to be doing that with the 4, so it's going to cover it anyway. And when you're applying your color inside the foil, make sure you get all the way up to that line of demarcation where your root color is, so that you don't have any gaps. That was an area of growth for me for a while, is making sure I got each of the colors close enough and then blending that line of demarcation. Sometimes I'd have like little peaks of the person's natural color where I didn't get that saturation in there good. So fortunately, that highlight section is pretty small, and so you only need to do 2 foils. Because of the hairline on these dolls, I tend to break my my face frames up to like in front of the recession area and behind the recession area. You like highlights? I do too. It is so slept on. Moroccanoil actually has 4 variations of high lift. So we have high lift clear, which is going to be HL0. It's going to be like the standard which everyone's used to. And then we have high lift ash, high lift gold, and then high lift gray. Haven't had a chance to play with the gray yet on a client. I'm looking forward to it, but I do use a lot of the high lift ash and the high lift gold. The thing that I like about these intense shades is that while they are really pigmented, it's a high impact look, they're still wearable. I know not everyone has the kind of job where they can wear fashion colors, and so this kind of dances in that fashion color neighborhood without fully committing. I'm gonna take this off her head for a minute. Split this right here. Do our fine weaves right here in the front. It's a little tiny piece. I wonder if I was making bangs or something. Let's see, do I melt them to the top with the little brush? Yes, I do. When I did my finished example, I want to say I went through about 3 ounces of the, yeah, 3 ounces of my 6RR, and then 4 ounces of my 4RR. Last face frame section. So Marlene's asking, is Moroccanoil color ammonia free? No, it's not. We actually, we do use ammonia, but it's low ammonia. And it does help with the processing. All right, got these locked in. We're gonna do our last top section. And another reason why we leave this section for last is because we're gonna be doing horizontals. That's something else that used to freak me out because I'm like, oh my gosh, is it gonna be stripy? So yes, I have always been paranoid about doing Y2K hair on people by accident. So I really did used to shy away from horizontal placements and bold weaves. But surprise, surprise, you know, it works out. So we're gonna take our horizontal section, continue with our bold weaves. This is a small section, so I'll make it a little bit smaller. But we are gonna be focusing on large ribbons of color. If you are not already, I would love it if you follow me on Instagram. My handle is Quia Loves Hair. It's QUIALOVES_hair. And it should be in the caption for this. And if you try out our Intense Color series or apply your own formula to this highlight placement, I would love to see it. So tag me. I'd love to see your work. The Moroccanoil stuff also smells nice. Yes, that is honestly, before I even joined the brand, that was one of my favorite things about Moroccanoil. That smell is just like, it's hypnotic and like it's instantly recognizable. You walk by someone and you happen to just kind of catch a little whiff on their hair, you know exactly what it is. And I think that's really smart, to be quite honest, because I have a background in marketing, and olfactory notes are one of the strongest memory indicators. So they hold on and they trigger memories. So even more so than things that you may see, smells really stick in your brain, and they take you back to whatever experience you associate with them. And our color actually has a little light air of the signature Moroccanoil fragrance. That was a pleasant surprise. Getting that argan oil all up and through that hair so that that hair is protected and she stays healthy, she stays shiny and manageable. So we're gonna go in. I am taking my bigger sections now. That was sloppy. Here we go. did a lot of blonding with lightener. Have you tried our Blond Voyage lighteners? I use the powder lightener a lot. It lifts 9 levels. But if I'm doing delicate work, like if the hair is fragile, if it's previously lightened, or even if I have like really fine, delicate curls, I'll use our cream lightener, which is really gentle. I actually use it to do my own hair. I use the cream lightener, 20 volume for an hour, and it hurts less than doing powder lightener, so that's really good for on the scalp lightening, although our powder lightener can be used on the scalp as well. I just like to try to keep it as painless as possible. This is our final section, and we are going to do our bold weaves. Do you ever have like that moment of victory when you're finally on your last foil? I always call it out to the clients. I'm like, we're in the home stretch. It's almost there. It's almost there. Not today though, because we still need to go back through and paint those mids and ends. Repeat my username. It's Quia Loves Hair. So it's Quia Loves, Loves, and the underscore hair. Getting down to the last of it. Don't skimp on your color, even if it's in the foil. You really want to make sure you get that saturation in there. Do some crisscrosses, especially if you have to swirl, to really make sure you've covered all your bases. Just going to go ahead and close this up. And now we are done with our right side foiling. So we've got our face frame, we've got our top section, the veil, we've got our back section. Here we go. And so we're going to have her turn back around to the back. I'm going to flip these foils up. And while I do that, I'm going to take the uncolored pieces, and split them out so that I can access them easily. And then once you start getting higher up, a lot of times your foils won't stick. So this isn't quite the clip that I like to use for that. I like to use the flat ones, the tension clips, but I don't have those out, and I don't feel like running to go get them. I don't really like using the big bite clips for these because the grips may puncture the foil. So now we're going to go back through with our base color, our 4RR, and paint those left out sections. And I'm also going to try to not step in this big blob of color that I dropped on the floor. This is the messy part, which is why I tend to save it for the end. So in situations where you're doing a highlight and base color, how do you typically do it? Do you like to put your base on first and then weave, like how we did today? Or do you like to do them both at the same time? So you do your base, do your foil, next step, base, foil, next step? Or do you do it like how I learned in cosmetology school, which was do your foil first and then go back through and paint your in-between sections? I don't really like that because all that moving the foils around can disrupt them. And in this case, it's not a big deal, but if I was using lightener, that could be a bit of an issue. I see I've got 2 more folks in here. I'm sure you're probably multitasking, but I would love it if you just said hi in the chat. That'd be awesome. You tried a sample of the powder one. Did you get a chance to use it yet? You have. Okay, awesome. What'd you think? I'm more than happy to give you any tips and tricks when it comes to any of our products. So, you know, not just color. We can even talk about some of the styling products that you may have questions about. One of our latest releases has been our Moroccanoil Ultralight Mist, and that has all the same benefits of our original Moroccanoil treatment, but it's in a ultralight dry oil spray format, which is really neat. And it's so lightweight, and it's all the shine and none of the weight. So this is the part that starts getting crazy. I'm wiping my hands. I need to reposition my doll here. I just got back from Seattle yesterday because I worked an event where we were showcasing our Moroccanoil spray mist, and we sold out immediately. It was a really good sales day, so that was awesome. So Victoria says you like doing the base first, then highlighting, then painting like how I'm doing. See, thank you. I feel validated. I really feel like this is like the best way to go. And it looks like our girl is in the struggle here. I'm gonna clean her face up a bit. And I may put that that foil back. And total processing time is going to be 35 minutes. Normal processing time for our permanent color is 30 to 40 minutes. For our demis, it is 20 minutes, and that should be applied to damp hair. Stick that on there. We are making great time because as soon as I am done here, I get to show y'all the reveal. I'm glad I positioned myself enough that you can't quite see it. I want it to be a surprise. So you like the powder lightener. It doesn't make the foil slip as much as some of the others. I do like that too. And the 1 to 1.5 mixing ratio really does help with that. You get like a nice cake frosting mixture, kind of consistency. And I feel like that does really help those foils stick. Something else you can use, depending on what your goal is, you can use our clay lightener. All of our lighteners can be used inside foil, and our clay lightener is formulated with kaolin clay to help keep the hair and keep the lightener moisturized inside the external shell that forms over the lightener. Getting these guys. I feel little splashes. I think I'm getting a little wild here. I'm sure I'm gonna find little red dots on my clothes. Well, no, on my skin later. After the first doll I did today, I only ended up with like one small red spot on my thumb. That was quite an accomplishment. I was very proud of myself. Get this on here. And this is the point where if this was a client, I'd tell her we're in the home stretch. Tighten this up. You've ever had to work with a doll on a tripod and had the doll head pop off while you're working, then you know why I'm like extra cautious about making sure she's on there good. Ooh, there's a little piece that I missed. I see it right here in the corner behind the ear. I always find that section to be a little tricky. Even when I'm blow drying my client's hair, a lot of times that hair is really soft and doesn't like to dry. It'll kind of tuck behind their ear and takes its time about doing its job. All right, and now we are going to do a face frames right in here. And then these, I'm just going to paint them and then flip them back. One of my colleagues here where I work tried the Moroccanoil lightener, and he said he wasn't really a fan because he felt like it swelled too quickly. But come to find out, he was using a mixer. You want to mix our lighteners by hand, and that's to avoid over agitating them. That's going to add too much air to the lightener, which is going to make it swell and lose potency sooner than it should. Okay, I'm going to take my gloves off, get situated. So what do you think of that technique? Nothing too crazy, right? Okay, so if I were doing baby highlights close to the scalp with lightener, do you still put the base on first? Ooh, I think I would. I think I would just do a little tap, because with baby lights, you really want to make sure you got those foils locked in there good. And I wouldn't want to kind of like lift them up and jostle them around while I'm working. All right. It is time for our reveal. We're going to set Irene over here to the side where she can't make a mess. And now, the big reveal. When everything is processed and shampooed and washed out, here is what your result is going to look like. And depending on what lighting you're in, that base color is going to give like a red violet, but in true sunlight, you can really see that red in there. What do you think? I rinsed everything out at one time in ice cold water. You want to do that to help seal the cuticle down so that those colors don't bleed. And then also, I even do that when I lighten with bleach, and I do lightener and then like maybe a demi or a permanent base color, so that, you know, I don't bleed the darker color all over my hard work. So here is our finished look. And I shampooed her with our Moroccanoil Color Care shampoo and conditioner. And I recommend Color Care specifically. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I recommend Color Care specifically in situations like this because it also has that argan ID and pro-arginine in the shampoo. So that's going to help nourish the hair, keep that color vibrant and everything like that. And then also in between and when styling, you want to use our Color Care spray. So it helps detangle, it helps seal the cuticle down to help protect the color, and it also works as a UV protectant, which is great because I don't know if you all experience this, but some of my clients, I do their hair with permanent color, but they're out in the sun so much that the sun actually bleaches their hair, and like so their roots go and do their gray coverage and their roots are dark, and then like the mids and ends have turned like light brown from the sun. And so using our color care spray is going to really help with that. Thank you so much for all your kind words. I appreciate it. So the haircut that this doll has is layers in motion. That one is also going to be on our Color Destination app on Moroccanoilprofessionals.com. I really like it. She's got a long fringe that you can part and move around, and then some nice long layers because everyone wants layers, but they also want to keep the hair long. So that's what we're doing here. So we've got a little bit of time left, so I can talk to you about styling. Once I rinsed everything out, I prepped with the color care spray, and then I took a few pumps of the original Moroccanoil treatment, worked it on the hair, focusing on the mids and ends. And then I also took our volumizing mousse and worked it through the hair, sectioned out a mohawk section, and did my signature blowout. So I blew out this top section first, pinned it, and then my two sides here, and then went to the back and just blew that out as well. Then I took my clips out, gave it a comb through, and this is still our final result. I also did go through with a 1.5 inch barrel curling iron to go ahead and do some waves for her. I hate how they come across on the camera. They look so much better in person. I feel like this screen does not do her justice. I'm gonna raise her up a little bit more. And the way I got this, I curled in alternating directions. So you see that one is going backwards, that one's coming forwards, and that's gonna give like a nice beachy look without the hair just being so uniform. Thank you so much to mention. Nice job. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. It means a lot, especially considering I got up at 6:30 this morning to do this so that we were ready for today. So I'm glad you like it. And let me see, what other information do I have for you all? So anyway, we talked about our Intense Color series. We do have a few more tutorials on the Color Destination app that showcase the double violets. I can't remember what it's called. I believe it's lavender ice. And then they used it to create like, a fashion color purple. And then also there is a tutorial for fiery copper using both of these. And I don't think that one was pre-lightened either. I think they used permanent color on that one as well. My last question here, how do you avoid over oiling the hair near the scalp with all those products? I've always been nervous to use that much. Great question. So when you're applying your, say my color care spray, she needs to come with me to another event today, so I'm not gonna spray her hair because it'll wet it. But I don't really focus on the roots when I'm doing my leave-ins and the oil. I kind of mist it over, and I'm focusing on the mids and ends underneath. And I like to take just like 3 big sections so that I don't go crazy. I am a chronic product overuser. So that is something that I constantly have to remind myself about. And then also with the Moroccanoil treatment, I know people tend to worry about that kind of thing. You do want to focus that on the mids and ends. We do have 3 varieties of it. We have the original, which is ideal for medium to coarse hair. And then we also have the Moroccanoil treatment light, which is a lot lighter in color and consistency. And that is great for fine hair and fine to medium hair. And then we also have our ultralight mist, which launched this month. And that is going to be the lightest of them all. That one's really hard to overuse. I misted so many people's hair at that event. As a matter of fact, let me go grab it because I have about 5 minutes. I can show you how good it works. So turn her around, put her right in the light so you can see. So we're just going to add a couple of sprays here right on the hair. And that felt like a lot, right? Still able to just, I have hairspray in here. Just comb it down. The hair still moves. You get incredible shine. Shine is up to 141%. It immediately dries into the hair. It's ultra light. It smells incredible. It's got that signature Moroccanoil fragrance. And if you happen to use it on damp hair, it helps the hair dry faster, like our original Moroccanoil treatment. And on dry hair, you know, it helps smooth flyaways, gets rid of frizz, and adds that incredible mirror shine. So hopefully I've answered everyone's questions. Again, my name is Quia Charisma. Thank you so much for tuning into my class today. I heard that it is going to stay on the Salon Republic channel, so you all can watch the replays. Super excited about that. And thanks, everyone. Have a good day.